Okay, thank you very much, Albert and Raymond, for the invitation and for the possibility to give a presentation here as a newcomer in the IRIS community. The topic I want to talk about is quite related to what was just presented, and the solutions you presented might be valuable for us too. I come from another approach. The systematic garden is one of our So this is our botanic garden. Just a few informations. We are quite large staff with 27 permanent gardeners, additionally one head gardener, curator, education officer, up to 9 trainees, volunteers as well. But so you see quite a good start. About 8,500 taxa, size roughly 9 hectares. The thing I want to talk about today is just our systematic garden, which in our opinion is maybe, maybe the largest systematic garden in Europe, the most sophisticated one, with more than 2,000 taxa, or roughly 2,000 taxa, many annual and biannual species. Many means about 500. It was planted in 2006 in this arrangement. It's arranged according to IrisBG 2 and IrisBG 3 in part. The important point, there is a wealth of information on propagation, cultivation, winter protection, etc. For each individual species among our gardeners. Information passed from one gardener to the other over 70 years. So not only things you find in the textbooks, but information for our particular space here, for our climate, for our soil, and so on. The gardeners received 2 lists during the growing period. And the important thing is that the list contains all taxa destined in the beds. Not only those that are present in the garden, but also a kind of wish list combined with the inventory. I have to explain this in more detail. Systematic garden or thematic garden, the typical workflow is, well, at least in my experience, the curator creates for a new thematic garden, say, preliminary list of taxa that has to be presented. Then he goes to the gardener, who knows a lot about propagation and cultivation of these taxa, much more than the curator normally knows. And with this feedback, the curator enters the final lists with details on propagation and cultivation database. Then the gardeners receives this as a planting list, say about 100 taxa, and he will plant all these taxa that are already available in the garden, say 90%, 90 species. The other 10 still missing, have to be searched, have to be propagated from incoming seeds whatsoever. The gardener gives this list back to the curator, and he will enter the planted items in the database and create the required labels. And after a couple of weeks or months, he prints out an inventory list, gives it to the gardener to check is everything still alive, is there. This list typically contains only the data of plants already planted, but not those that are missing. You can imagine this goes, the circle can go over the years a couple of times, and the number of species may decrease over time. At the beginning you have 90, after 2 years it's only 85 or whatsoever. And each list the gardeners will receive only has the taxa still living in the garden. It looks fine. The curator often has to think about many other things, other projects, and it's very hard to keep track of the initial planting list. So the initial 100 taxa you want to show in the garden. Because every new list the gardener receives has only those that are really living in the garden. It looks fine. The gardener, he has to compare the initial planting list again and again with the inventory in search for missing data. Some gardeners can do this, many don't do it. They just look at the inventory list, it's fine. So this typical workflow, in my experience, can lead to a decrease of the number of species in the thematic or systematic area. We had another approach, which I may call the ideal workflow. It's exactly the same up to this point. After planting and creating the labels, the gardener will receive a combined list, which contains all taxa of the planting list and the accession data of those taxa currently existing in the garden, in the beds. And the advantage is that it's very easy to keep track of the initial planting list and to search for missing data, because every list that is produced contains all the 100 taxa, and only 85 or 90 are filled with accession data, and the others not. You see immediately what is still missing. We had such a opportunity with our old database, which we developed over 15 years. It was a Microsoft Access database and relational database, and we have a special table giving the sequence of the plants for each individual web. And this was the master for the inventory lists, just for those who are familiar with Microsoft Access. It looked like this. The gardeners received sowing list in alphabetical order for the systematic beds with information on cultivation propagation. The important thing is that here you see 3 grasses. Presently, no accession data, but the gardeners see immediately these taxa are still still on the wishing list. The same was with the harvesting list, the second list during the year. Again, you see the Atron album missing, no data available, and everybody knows we have to look for this, and you have to keep empty space for this in the bed. Are we able to produce our lists from IrisBG? We're still trying, which is quite normal after a year. I told you we have been using Iris for 1 year now. We are very happy with this decision because our old database has some advantages, because we could adapt it to whatever was required in the garden, but it was not the professional solution, of course. First step: define a number of custom attributes, in our case for 8 or 9, to store all the important information that was passed from gardener to gardener. What kind of winter protection is required for particular plants in systematic gardening. Propagation info, how to treat seeds to germinate, propagation time, what is the right time for sowing. Quantity, how many are required for the particular area, mode of cultivation, etc., etc. And this is quite easy with Iris, custom attributes. Code lists for example propagation information. Here you see a number of different values for how to treat seeds to germinate or to propagate by cutting or whatsoever. We imported our lists. This is very straightforward with Iris. We imported this on the taxonomic level. And here you see the custom attributes. Some filled with data, of course. Cultivation mode, not an important point. A means it's treated as annual in the garden. You can have this as life form, but life form always means it's in nature, the annual plant. It doesn't have to be, or there might be many cases where you have annual plants that are treated in the garden as annuals. Next step, define the sequence of taxa for each bed. And this is very similar to the task, to the wish lists we've just seen. We define the name, choose the name of the particular area of the garden, and add 25 taxa. We can sort them in the appropriate way. We can have additional information, water ponds required whatsoever. Next step. From this task, it's quite easy to create a planting list for each bed. Yeah? It's a sequence of the plants, 25 in this particular place, families from Hortus to Dioscorea. So far, so good. This is fine for the typical workflow I described earlier. Now, try to create a combined list. A list based on this sequence of taxa and filling in only the accession data that are available. How might this be possible? This can be done with, or the approach is trying with records, and we defined two different records with the required fields. We choose the name of the systematic bed where the plants are in, arrange or sort by location reference, and then combine this, was the idea, with the task we have created. Unfortunately, this gives not the required result. Here we have to, probably we have to try with Excel files to combine this. But it's quite complicated. I would like to avoid this. I would like to ask the IrisBG team to find a solution that we can use a task with taxa names as a master table and fill in the data that of the plants that are available at the moment. Yeah. You see that's the outcome. You get 24 of the 25 are currently existent in the garden, but Tophelia caliculata is missing at the moment in the garden, and it doesn't appear in the list. In our old system, Tophelia would be in place too, without accession data, and for everybody it's clear at this point of the garden, Tophelia is missing. You have to search for it, you have to look at index seminar and whatsoever to fill this gap. Could you follow me? That's it at the moment. Okay, yeah. With Iris, at the moment, it's fine to produce planting lists, but we have not found the solution so far for our combined planting lists. Thank you.
Yeah. Just one quick comment. Thank you very much. I think I understood exactly what you wanted anyway. So that's the good news.
That's why I came.
But yeah, that was great. I think we are a little bit over time for lunch, so we should discussion have to be taken over some food. Yeah. And then we'll be back. Should we try to eat back the lost time and then this sort of 45 minutes, or is that eat back?
Yes, we have there's less lunch than we thought, so we should eat some of the time.
Exactly.
But I would just like to give Anike option to pose a question that she didn't was for.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
I was just wondering about the more slightly technical side of the database, because this particular issue is solved with two quite simple queries. And I was wondering if there's a way to get into the database behind IrisBG, not through IrisBG.
Well, yeah, from a technical point of view, the database is there, and if you have login to the right tools, you can log in and look. And the only thing is, there are a couple of things. It's something we don't support because we will end up spending days and weeks to explain how things work underneath. Yeah. And what we try to achieve here is that you get to us and explain what you're trying to solve, and we try to solve it in the tool itself. It's just because that's the short answer, really. Not that we don't say you never look in the database. It's ours. It's your database. Go in there if you like, and if you delete everything, sorry, you can do that. Then it's your database.
Well, you back things up anyway.
Yeah. So you can, but it's nothing we sort of actively can help you with, because it just becomes too labor intensive for us to help people to understand how we design the software from the ground up. It's just technically a lot of explanation needed to get to understand the details. But yeah. So the answer would be, come to us if you have problems, and we'll see if we can help you. Like this question here.